I thought it might be fun since Marilyn Manson is my favorite artist to look at Manson's live performances through the years, because he's definitely had a road there. So I think we'll go ahead and do that and maybe talk to each other about what we see. And we're going to start not at the very beginning. I could have dredged up some spooky kids stuff from very early on in the day, but I decided to start in 95 when he had been signed to a label and stuff. So let's take a look. This is Marilyn Manson at the Abyss in Houston, Texas on January 11th of 1995. Manson had some fucking long-ass hair back then. Doing that fucking crazy... I mean, that's definitely some fucking holdover shit from the 80s right there. Because this kind of like super long hair headbanging shit was already kind of on its way out in 95, thanks to, you know, the grunge movement and stuff. And even a lot of metal bands were moving away from it. So that's kind of an interesting thing that... you know, in 95, he was sporting this very long hair and doing some very traditional headbanging stuff, because you don't really see that much later on in his career. Or even like a few years later, I don't really think you see much of that. He was a scrawny boy back then. But actually, he's not that young here. I believe Manson was born in 69. Didn't really get signed to a record label until... 94, I believe, maybe 93. So I mean, he was like, I don't know, 24, 25 by the time he got signed, and you know, so that's, I mean, you know, I guess it's not like super old or anything, but you know, a lot of artists that make it big do get signed a little bit earlier in their careers. This is not Spooky Kids Manson. This is just emerging from the Spooky Kids era. I think the Spooky Kids were dropped when he signed to Nothing Records with Trent Reznor, and I believe 94, but it might have been 93. Hey, if you like this clip, you might like the full stream, which I do every Sunday, more or less, over on the Pessimist Productions Patreon, link down below. Thank you kindly. See the little Kill God light bright back there? It's got a fucking light bright that just says Kill God on it. I love it. And Manson still had eyebrows back then. You know, he's still got the eyebrows going. Let's go a little bit later in the concert. Let's take a look at some of these moments where there's like a peak. Now this is some fucking quintessential fucking 90s metal show shit right here. Tons of crowd surfing, tons of energy in the crowd. I remember when I was at that Rob Zombie concert earlier this week. You know, I didn't have great seats because I didn't really want to spend a lot on that concert, because I've been going to a lot of concerts lately, and I have to kind of pick and choose which ones I want to be getting the good seats and which ones I care less about. If I would have realized how good Alice Cooper was going to be as the opening act, I would have sprung for the closer seats. But I was kind of far off, and so I got a bird's eye view of the pit, and I'm looking down at the pit, and this is motionless, man. There ain't no crowd surfing. There ain't no moshing. It's just people standing there looking. And it's like, man, that's not a metal show to me. You know what I mean? And even when I went to that Manson show not too long ago, you know, I mean, they were a little bit, honestly, it was a more lively pit than the Rob Zombie show, but still very, let's stand here and watch this rock concert unfold. Indeed, yes. So it's very different now. I guess it's just because the crowd's aging. But like looking at this 90s shit, remembering all these people just wilding out and crowd surfing and getting shirtless and punching each other in the face, you know, that's rock and roll to me. Travel the world in the 7 seas. People are even trying to crowd surf to this. Like, it's not even the raucous part of the song. Just like, sweet dreams are made of these. And people are still like, yeah, crowd surf. It's like, wait for the mood to be right for it, okay? Some of them want to be some feedback there. Yeah, this is a fucking true rock show crowd right here. When I think of like a metal show, this is kind of fucking, the pit should be a little scary to be in, you know? You shouldn't be comfortable in the pit. But anyway, let's take a look at a few years later, 1997. At this point, Manson has been signed to his label. He's already put out his first 2 albums. Antichrist Superstar is out by this point. It charted at number 3 on the Billboard charts, and he's been on the cover of the Rolling Stone, I think, at this point. So, or if he hasn't at this point, he's very near it. So this is. His career is leapt forward here. He's playing a big festival at this point, not playing a little, tiny show like he was in the last one. So let's see what's going on at this point. I do think the show kind of suffers from being in the daylight, but, you got to do what you got to do. If you're going to play festivals, you might be playing with the lights on. Basically wearing nothing. I mean, let's go back a smidgen. Let's get that butt shot. There we go. Basically wearing virtually goddamn nothing. Got like this little dirty rag wrapped around the middle of him, Is this the evolution of fats? And I mean, that is one of the things we'll be seeing is that, we will see him start to balloon at a certain point, and it'll be noticeable when it happens. Obviously here he's rail thin. But I love his makeup here. Very fucking dirty. I mean, just kind of a very fucking scary look, Like, pretty simple. I actually noticed that I thought that he only started painting this chin line after he got fat, but I guess this proves that he was doing it even when he was skinny, so. Hey, there's a fucking goddamn. That's what a fucking rock show should look like, at the minimum. If a song like this is playing, this should at least be happening in certain places. There's always pockets of calm for the people who don't like this shit. But this should be happening some fucking where. And the last few fucking rock shows I've been to, no one fucking moves around. Everyone respects each other's space, and I don't know what the fuck has happened. I don't know if it's an aging thing. I don't know if it's a cultural shift. But I miss the fucking pit, baby. I am the fuck was that? It just turned into a fucking growl. He's like, I'm not even gonna sing the next line. I'm just gonna fucking. It's like he's full of so much fucking goddamn demonic energy right here that he can't even contain it, It's just like, like this is one fucking coked out peak of his fame, fucking crazy motherfucker right here. Just, it's definitely his audience aging. I go to play metal shows and the pits are crazy as. Yeah, it must be the case because. But I mean, honestly, when I've been at these rock shows lately, like I went to Manson, I went to Rob Zombie, I went to Disturbed. I mean, all these bands have been around for a while, and their audiences are a little older and shit. But like, I see a lot of people there that are not old. I mean, I definitely see people in there that are in their fucking teens and 20s and shit, early 30s, and it's like they're still the same way, just like. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like if the band is older, they just can't get a mosh pit going no more. Sound like his throat was about to collapse there.
I feel your fingers in me. Tear this bed off. Wrap it in your soul. Now you must spit out the steam.
It's weird to see Manson holding a guitar. Usually never touches instruments during his shows. For good reason. He's not very good at playing them. But maybe, I guess they gave him an easy enough chord that he could handle it. All right, I think we get a pretty good idea of seeing Manson in 97 here. So let's skip a few years later. This is 1999. By this point, Manson has put out his glam album, his glam rock album, Antichrist Superstar. Oh, I love how he comes out on stage to this. Just enjoy this intro for a second. Are you making the argument that he's better now? I'm not making any arguments here. I'm just taking a look at the evolution of Marilyn Manson, my favorite artist, as a live performer over the course of the last 2 decades or 3 decades or whatever it's been. Let's see. 3? So 95, 2005, 2015, 2000. Yeah, pretty much 3 decades. I'm old. All right, here we go. Yeah, he fucking rises up on a crucifix made of television screens. I believe that those television screens burst into flames at some point during the show. I could be wrong about that. Then he starts fucking dancing around like one of the fucking flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz as they launch into, I believe, the Reflecting God is what they're going to play here first. I think that's what we're listening to. He's wearing more clothes here, but somehow revealing more skin. Yeah, he looks like the demon from Death Note. Yeah, I mean, it does really look like the Shinigami from Death Note, even though this predates that, as far as I know. I don't know when the Death Note like manga came out or whatever, but this is before the anime came out anyway. And this cameraman is really skilled because if I was filming Manson, I'd be sure like, all right, get him in the very fucking corner. Make sure like get it way out of focus. Shake it around. There you go. Yeah, you got it. These cameras are complicated things, He's doing his stilt thing here. I think this guy's camera has a lot of trouble focusing with all the strobing lights. This is, remember, before everyone had a cell phone in their pocket. So this guy is probably recording on a little Canon Vixia or something. You'll notice, though, from 97 to here, there's way less of that, like insane shaking fucking energy of just like, There's way more contrivance and prop work and stuff going on. And really, the Manson that we saw in the 97 clip probably shouldn't be trusted on these fucking stilts, right? So this is a very different iteration who's being a little bit more, I think, cognizant of what he's doing here. He looks so much like fucking Nicolas Cage here. It's kind of bizarre how much those dudes look alike, especially in the late 90s. Still rail thin at this point, by the way. So we haven't even seen the beginnings of Fatson at this point. But let's move ahead a few years. Really just a couple years. This is probably a little bit after the first time I saw Manson. I saw him for the first time, I think, in 1999 or perhaps very early 2000. So, between these two performances, at some point is when I saw him. I don't know if I should show how he enters this. I believe there is nudity. So, he's drawn out on a sort of a one of those like war carriages. What are those called? The things from Gladiator times. The standing cart, but it's drawn by two naked women instead of by horses. Anyway, we'll take a quick look at this show. I don't want to watch too much of this because I think this is actually a copyrighted show. But we can take a little peek. Yeah, a chariot. I don't know why I was struggling with that word so much. Yes, chariot. Yeah. Okay, you're all smarter than me. That's fine. Are we seeing maybe the very initial stages of Fatson here? Is it creeping up a little bit? Is there a little bit more jiggle in that belly than there used to be? I mean, that corset looks like it might be a little tighter on there, maybe to hide some. I don't know. I mean, I think we see a little bit more plumpness in the chest, a little more plumpness in the arms, you know? No one would call him fat at this point, but like, are we seeing the beginnings? Are we seeing the first little iterations? I think that booty's a little plumper than it was back in 97, too. Remember, his ass was hanging out in 97. I don't remember it jutting out quite so much. Well, like I said, we shouldn't watch too much of this one. Someone 100% gooned to this. Oh, yeah. How do you get fat when you're performing shows all the time in the peak of your career? Alcohol is the answer to that, I think. Frequent alcohol consumption is probably the best answer. I mean, like, remember, he's managing to gain weight on cocaine, too. But look, at this point, I mean, he's clearly not at an unhealthy weight or anything here. But he does get pretty big I don't know if he's going to be that big. Oh yeah, we're going to start seeing him big here. So we had to skip a few years. We're jumping all the way from 2001 to 2008 because there was a period where Manson really didn't put much out. I probably could have pulled something from the Golden Age of Grotesque tour, but whatever. We're going to skip a few years ahead. We're going to go to 2008 when he's touring in support of probably my second least favorite Manson album, which is Eat Me, Drink Me. And, he's at a very dark place in his life at this point. He got a divorce from his wife after a very, very short failed marriage and got fat. And I think the performances do start to suffer a decline around this time. But I'll let you guys be the judge. Let's take a look. Let's see how he enters. We play some dramatic fucking music. Let's see. When did he start abusing Evan Rachel Wood? I mean, as for whether or not he ever abused Evan Rachel Wood, I don't know. But he started dating her, I think around, I don't know. I mean, it was around this time, but maybe give or take a few years. I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, because Eat Me, Drink Me has the worst single that Manson ever put out, which is Heart-Shaped Glasses. And that is on this album. So, yes, this was around this time. Heart-Shaped Glasses was the first song I ever bought on iTunes. I mean, in my opinion, it's the worst single he's ever put out, especially for a lead single. I do not know. I mean, it's a Manson song that I pretty much always skip. It's the hook is trash. The melody is, I don't know. The melody and the lyrics feel disjointed from one another. I just think it's a stupid fucking song. I do not for the life of me understand why that song was even put on the album, let alone released as the first single off the album. Plenty of better songs on there. I mean, If I Was Your Vampire would have been a banger of a first single on this. A little bit softer than the stuff people were used to from Manson at that time, but that song's dope. Atmospheric, cool. Could have had a cool Victorian video. Instead, don't break my heart, and I won't break your heart-shaped glasses. Manson could punch an 80-year-old grandma, and TJ would probably still defend him. I mean, that's rock and roll, baby. What are you gonna do? I remember seeing one of these shows, a lot of candles and shit. She was attracted to his massive gravitational pull. I mean, Manson, don't get me wrong, I think Manson will be chubby by this time, if I'm remembering this correctly. He is going to be a little chunkier, but he's not even begun to be true Fatson yet. True Fatson we won't reach that until we get to 2018 or so. He's still 10 years away from being, the total porker. But I think he is pretty fat at this time, but we'll see. Yeah, you'll notice the skin tight outfit is gone. Up until now, every time we've seen him, he's been in something skin tight and revealing. Now you got a big old baggy potato sack over him. So we're definitely starting to get into Fatson now, right? There's no fucking way we're not. We're nowhere near peak Fatson, though. Nowhere near it. All right, not too bad yet, but we're definitely starting to get into that, like, that drunken sort of did not appear until this era. Not even in the albums yet, but in the live performances, you started to get that. We're not all the way into the fucking like Caterwaul territory yet, but yeah. I don't completely hate it, but I did not like this era. I did not like this album. I still supported the man. I still like a few tracks off that album, but like that is not my favorite fucking work of his. Not my favorite fucking tour setup. I hated the lead single on the album. Definitely not my favorite era of Marilyn Manson fandom. But anyway, let's move forward a few years, see how he's doing in 2012. What was going on around 2012? That's Born Villain era? I think he's definitely fatter. I can see just from his arms. He's fatter. I really hate it once you got, but the God of the people I hate. This is that same shit that I was complaining about with Rob Zombie earlier. This out of breath shit. I really hate it once you got. And we're not even like deep into the show. You know, if we were fucking like balls deep in this show and he's singing a little exhausted, whatever, we can look the other way. Motherfucker just came out 6 minutes ago, okay? Like, come on. Yeah, probably also real drunk. Fat. Manson, don't fucking stay away from that guitar, dude. Don't play the guitar. He's trying to do that thing. It's sad to see. Look, because you remember how that looked? That same move he's doing where he bends the mic over and he kind of like uses it as a little support while he's thrashing. Remember how fucking aggressive and energetic that was before? And now look at it, Couldn't even maintain it for long enough for you to look. Let me just go back. That's like a Howard Bloom fucking push-up, bro. I don't want you to get me wrong. I saw some Manson concerts round about these times. They were still fun experiences. They were still fun concerts. But man, just looking at them from like 97, 99, 2001, it's like, it just felt like he was on a path to just getting, he had that super fucking high energy level when he was doing the first two shows, 95, 97, that kind of went away. But like as that went away, it was like there was this emergence of a sort of consummate showman and professional on the stage, incorporating more props, focusing more on his delivery and stuff, and trying to put on like a very solid rock show. And then 2008 is just like, I don't give a fuck no more, man. I don't give a fuck no more. I'm chaos, baby. I just go out, take your hatred out on me. I don't give a fuck. Audience, you sing it for me. I'm just joking. Everyone, all fucking singers do that shit. I feel like we're getting into almost Billy Corgan levels of like, I don't give a shit. Like that Billy Corgan thing earlier where it was like, The world is a vampire. This is Manson's equivalent era of just like, I don't give a shit. This performance just reeks of like, whatever, paycheck, please. So let's take a look at 2016, baby. This is Maximus Festival 2016 full show. Let's see if he's any better or any worse. Why is the frame rate such dog shit? Does it get better? What does Twiggy look like here? Does Twiggy look like a fucking middle-aged dude cosplaying as Edward Scissorhands or something? You know, Manson, if you grew the hair out again, you could have hide some of that fat behind it, you know? Just saying. What was that? I feel like the vocals are a little bit more together here. Still very, like, slurry and caterwauly, but they do seem a little bit more focused than they did in that last show. Let's take a look how it's doing a little later. Never mind. That's fucking fucked up. It's not, that line is not, let's hold on. Let me see, middle fingers, I guess. I don't know. I don't care. You can show them to me if you want. I don't know. Hold on. Let me find a song that I can go find a basis of comparison for an earlier show. It'll have to be something for Antichrist or something. All right. I think it's a pretty good performance of the song. Honestly, I will say this. I saw him perform Tourniquet live this year, and I feel like he vocally was better than what he just did there. But energy-wise, obviously you can't match the fucking youthful vitality, newly famous, full of the fame endorphins and all that stuff. Like, the power of, like, and energy levels that are on display there are just crazy. And the intensity of it is just palpable. So from that perspective, great performance there. I think in terms of actually nailing it vocally, he did a better job at the show I saw recently. But probably not in this show that we're looking at here. Is it this one we're looking at, or is it this one? I can't remember. Yeah, it's this one. All right, let's compare. I mean, it's fucking night and day, right? That's fucking way, I mean, chasm of difference already. Chasm of difference, right? Am I wrong to perceive a chasm of difference between 97 and 2016 on this fucking song, and not in a good direction? Listen a little more. Things I cannot see. She comes out like a crippled plaything. A star is just asleep. I wanted into it like this. Silent spider legs. Terrible. I mean, like, night and day. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big enough Manson fan that if I was there at Maximus Festival 2016 in that crowd and he was singing it like that, I'd be happy. I'd be happy because I'll be a simp to Manson till the day I die. He could come out on stage being 950 pounds and fucking breathing heavy and barely able to fucking get his way through anything. And I'll still be happy to just fucking be there and bask in the fucking presence. But 1997 Manson versus 2016 Manson and those two clips is like, the chasm of fucking difference is insane. I mean, it definitely does not have the energy of 97. And I mean, he's an old man at this point, so I don't expect it to. But like, don't you just sense the actual like giving a shit about the fucking song in that delivery versus the one we just watched a second ago? I do. There's not one line where he's slurring. There's not one line where he's fucking out of breath, can't fucking sing the goddamn song. Yeah, I'm very happy with these more recent performances. All right, let's see how bad it got, because I think that just prior to the cancellation is when we got into real dog shit. Let's take a look at this. Is a show from about halfway through 2018. As you can see, he's huge. I mean, I'm obviously fatter than him. I can't say he's fucking huge or anything, but like, for Marilyn Manson, he's fucking huge, dude. Look at him. Like, look at him, dude. He's chunky. You know, if I'd have... out of breath, slurring every word, not putting any of the fucking trademark Manson rasp in it at all. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like the 2016 one was actually a little worse than what I'm seeing here in this one. Still not my favorite. I mean, he's just like a dude wearing a tracksuit. That does not look like a fucking Marilyn Manson aesthetic, bro. You look like a fucking Rocky Balboa in some fucking sequel where he's got to get back into shape to fight Clubber Lang one more time or something. This doesn't even fucking begin to look like fucking Marilyn Manson here. Yeah, this is Brian Warner on stage, bro. I can laugh about it now because it's over. If I was in 2016, I would defend it to my dying breath. No, come on, man. He's still putting it. But now that he's gotten better, again, I can look back at this and be like, all right. I could take off the rose-tinted glasses now and be like, nah, this was not a good time. Don't get me wrong. The albums he's putting out around this time, in my opinion, are fucking bangers. The studio work he's doing around this time of his career, I think, is good. I love Pale Emperor. I love Heaven Upside Down. I love We Are Chaos. It's probably my least favorite of those three, but still a pretty decent album. So I'm fond of the stuff he's putting out studio-wise at this point. But this live show, big whole fat Manson fucking... clearly mobily restricted, slurring every fucking thing, out of fucking breath. I mean, you know, it's not the best fucking look. Come on now. At this point, he has lost some weight. I don't know how good this footage is. I've seen him in concert. I can tell you firsthand he's doing a lot better. Looking a lot better. Sounding a lot better. Delivering the fucking songs much better. He's never going to have the fucking energy and vitality of fucking 1997, 1995 Manson again, dude. But, like, he seems like he's back on the fucking right path that he seems to have taken a fucking deviation from as far as his live shows go, like in 2008. It seemed like he was on a fucking path to becoming, like, a very seasoned, mature, expert stage performer. And then at some point, he took a wrong turn at Albuquerque and ended up in fat, drunk Slurland. And now he seems like he's on the fucking goddamn best, a good course again. You know? He's fucking delivering the lyrics to the songs without fucking slurring, without fucking running out of breath. He's not fucking halfway giving a shit. He's hitting every fucking syllable of every fucking song for the most part. There seems to be like a focus and a concentration to the fucking performance again that has been missing for quite some fucking time. I mean, for the better part of a fucking goddamn decade now. Let's go a little further in. See what's going on at this point. This doesn't give me a lot of 90s, man. What this gives me is a lot of, like, he's back on the course he was in the early 2000s. Like, when he was doing the supporting tour for Hollywood and stuff, where his energy levels weren't what they were, but he was getting better at stagecraft. And he was getting better at knowing how to connect to an audience with charisma and showmanship and all that stuff. And, I mean, this is a very stripped-down show in terms of, like, props and stuff like that. But the amount of focus being put into making sure that he sings the songs well, I think is very impressive. Now, obviously, Manson, to a lot of people's ears, does not have some kind of golden angelic voice. But, you know, if you're a Manson fan and you like that sort of ragged sound he brings, this is a lot more of what you're looking for than that fucking 2012, 2016 shit. It's like, so anyway, thank you for indulging me on this long journey into what Marilyn Manson has sounded like over the years. I'm not trying to draw any conclusions or anything. I've been going to Manson concerts since like 2000, 1999, I think was my first, actually. So I've been going to Manson concerts since the 90s. And I've seen him in person during all these eras. And I enjoyed every concert I went to. But the last concert I saw might be my favorite, not just because of the emotional resonance of him coming back after a long period of inactivity, but also just to see him, in terms of his stage shows, back on the right path. So very pleased with the show I saw. Very proud that he has sold out every single date of his European tour. And I hope he continues down this path of not sucking and does not return to caterwauling Fatson, because that would be a true tragedy to get a little taste of what could have been and then have it ripped away again. So I hope Manson stays on this course. I was a little skeptical of this whole sobriety thing, but now I see where he's coming from. So let's stay with this. Let's not go back to he probably, I know, I'm scared that that'll happen too, but whatever. At least I guess if that happens, at least we got this. But, you know, right now he's got a fire in his ass. He's got something to prove. Hopefully he won't lose the fucking luster. Hopefully he can find that fucking Alice Cooper ability to continue to be awesome into his 70s. We'll see. Maybe he just needs to become a Christian and a conservative or something. Maybe that's the cure. Maybe that's the solution. Just live like a right-wing douchebag when you're not on stage, and then you could kick ass on stage and exercise your demons there. Maybe that's the answer. I don't care. Whatever keeps this Manson touring and keeps Fatson from coming back, I'm all for it.